just to get diamonds out of the earth. And then those diamonds are in Kay Jewelers, Jared, and everywhere else. And look at the oil spill in the Gulf of Mexico. What that got to do with any other thing than the love of money? What about friendships, families? A cat is willing to become an outcast in his family just to be the biggest drug dealer in the city, to be the biggest bank robber. Your mom ain't pleased with it. Your grandmother displeased with it. You got other family members like, yo, you need to stop that. You out there killing, robbing, and stealing. This is how I gotta live. No, you don't. You just want the world.
Or they all went to school for their good jobs and all separated. Brothers and sisters don't see each other for years. And
what about this one?
Their careers.
What about this one? What about the marriages that break up because the man can't satisfy the woman's lust for material? Or the man tell the woman, I'm out here getting it all, and all you do is sit at home and take care of babies. So, you know, what about the marriages that break up when people lose jobs? Do y'all know how much the divorce rates went up in America it was already at like 54%. Do y'all know how much it went up in the last 3 years because of the recession? And then on top of it, you still had couples that were legally divorced but still stayed in the mansion together because they couldn't afford for the other to go get it if they own. All for the love of money. The love of money. Every abomination we just read there in Proverbs 6 is all about that woman and cats drunk at her cup one by one. The same way the disciples sipped out of that cup the Messiah handed. We all done sipped and took our tongues sipping on that cup. And then some cats skip back in line and try to hide themselves and come back for some more. Skipping cats to come get they sip of that woman's cup. Brothers and sisters, we have to be careful and not just be looking for some worldwide calamity, but we better be careful about our own hearts and the hearts of our own wives, our own children, our own brothers and sisters, and what we doing to say, hey, we can't be these kind of people. Because these ain't the people that's going to reign with Christ forever. This is the root of all evil versus the root of all good. Wisdom is the root of all good. And the love of money is the root of all evil. And the love of money is symbolized in Revelation as that woman that ride on the beast. Now, for the sake of time, I can't go to all of this. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to break this down to the last precepts here. Go to Proverbs 25, and I want to show us something that the king had, and I want to show us something that the greater king taught us. Proverbs 25. This is ridiculously interesting to me because this is a king. Remember, the kings had to have a copy of the law so they know how to judge. Well, you had a king who was way after Solomon. He was coming up near the time as the Israelites was getting near the Babylonian captivity. Let's read this here. Proverbs 25. Go ahead and start at verse 1.
These are also Proverbs of Solomon, which the men of Hezekiah, king of Judah, copied out.
Look at this. You got the king of Judah, King Hezekiah, saying, basically, these is the copies of the wise sayings. This is a part of what he had them copying. He had his own copy, and most likely the magistrates, the nobles of the empire of Israel, had their copies as well. So look at what these kings compared to other kings of the earth would have been sitting up reading at night. In their cabinet meetings, what kind of policies they would have been trying to create, and according to the understanding that they got from the wisest king ever in the history of the people, Solomon. Go ahead and continue. Read verse 2.
It is the glory of God to conceal a thing, but the honor of kings is to search out a matter. The heaven for height, and the earth for depth, and the heart of kings is unsearchable. Take away the dross from the silver, and there shall come forth a vessel for the finer. Take away the wicked from before the king, and his throne shall be established in righteousness.
So he's saying the same way you take away, you put that silver in to get the dross off of it and to get the valuable metal. If you do the same thing with the wicked and get them out of the presence of the king, he going to be able to do his job effectively. So the first thing they know they got to do is what? Stop this woman in Revelation 17 from causing the kingdom of Judah to be drunk with her cup. Go ahead.
Put not forth thyself in the presence of the king, and stand not in the place of great men. For better it is that it is said unto thee, come up hither, than that thou shouldest be put lower in the presence of the prince, whom thine eyes have seen.
Now, do that sound familiar? That sound familiar, don't it? Where did I read something like that before? Go to Luke 14 right quick. Now, keep your marker in 25 because we're going to come back to it 2 more times. Go to Luke 14 right quick. And I know that this is kind of long for you, so, you know, people got to leave or things like that. I understand, brothers and sisters, but I really wanted us to really look at what we're dealing with here. And this ain't nothing to be played with or to be kind of glossed over here. We just want a quick lesson and skate. No, we need to understand because your very life could depend on it. If I had to sit in the doctor's office and listen to him for 5 hours, tell me everything I need to do to get rid of some kind of disease, I'm going to sit there. Oh, you know what, doctor, I ain't trying to hear this. Let me get up out. Well, that's your choice. But, you know, what I'm telling you could very well save your life. And what the Most High showing us could save our life. But anyway, go ahead and read that, Ak, in Luke chapter 14. Read verse 8, please.
When thou art bidden of any man to a wedding, sit not down in the highest room, lest a more honorable man than thou be bidden of him. And he that bade thee and him come and say to thee, give this man place, and thou begin with shame to take the lowest room. But when thou art bidden, go and sit down in the lowest room. Then, when he that bade thee cometh, he may say unto thee, friend, go up hither. Then shalt thou have worship in the presence of them that sit at meat with thee.
Read 11.
For whosoever exalteth himself shall be abased, and he that humbleth himself shall be exalted.
So the spirit of this is about exaltation and humility, correct?
Right.
Christ gave a very same example that Solomon gave. And how did Solomon get this understanding? Who said I am understanding? Wisdom. The wisdom he asked the Most High for that we read in 2 Chronicles caused Solomon all that time ago to have that understanding. King Hezekiah and those with him had to have that understanding by copying Solomon's understanding, and we see that one greater than Solomon even took it a step further. He talked about cats in the presence of the king. This man said, look, just the average cat. Christ is saying, look, if you the average person, you going to a wedding, don't go trying to sit up and like make yourself like I'm going to be right in the face of the groom and the bride in the wedding party. You know, they can know you there. Hey, how y'all doing? I just came and go somewhere. Get away from that scene. He said, let somebody who are more important guests to them. It didn't just say they come. It said him and them. Like, dude come like, yo, man, like, yo, this my seat. And now you want to argue, no, this my man. And your man come over and back him. No. I didn't know you is my man, but this my man. You, like, yo, man, you're going to have to go find you a seat over there somewhere. You don't want to get embarrassed like that, right? So Christ is telling us the same advice and letting us know the spirit of it is exaltation and humility. But where did Christ get all his understanding from? Wisdom. Same place Solomon got his from. But also that law, that righteous commandment of the Most High. Now go back to 25 right quick and read verse 15, that one verse. Proverbs 25, and back there, read verse 15, Brother Judah.
By long forbearing is a prince persuaded, and a soft tongue breaketh the bone.
If you want to read an example of that, go to Luke 18 and look at the parable of the woman who kept bothering the ruler who didn't fear God or man. And he said, even though I don't fear God or man, if I don't get this woman what she wants, she gonna make me weary. So he sent his servants to bring the woman to him and said, woman, what do you need? And she got her petition answered, didn't she? And Christ says, so if the unjust judge will eventually hear you, won't our Father hear those who call upon him if you consistent in being humble and asking him for what you want? But here it lets you know, look, don't get out of pocket. By long suffering, a prince will be persuaded to what it is you need. Even with each other. If we suffer one another, as long as we see each other still striving to do right, we can eventually see the progress that we desire to see in each other as far as us being servants of the Most High.